I'm going to give a talk on the production performance and the haemato-biochemical aspects of Krishibro broilers of India. Poultry industry, it is a very rapid growing industry, and it is mostly commercialized, but some backyard, around 20% of the backyard is also maintaining the poultry. And as a government organization, our mandate is to improve the backyard varieties. So the profits are on par with the agricultural commodities and also more also nowadays with the poultry industry due to the recent technological advances in the genetic selection, feed quality, the growing methods, as well as the processing and marketing techniques, which are also day by day increasing and modeling to the tune of poultry production. The balanced nutrition as well as the good health, these are the two major things for growing a healthy poultry. The meat and egg, they are the most important sources for the most important and safe sources for the, as well as the cheap, economically they are low in cost, and they provide a very good quality protein for the human nutrition. In rural, approximately 8 to 10% increase per annum is seen in the poultry farming every year. It is growing. Mainly this backyard poultry for the rural poor people in the villages and some tribal areas, they act as a supplementary income source, as well as they also provide nutrition for the families, especially for the old people and also children. And they can sell that produce also and can fetch some direct income to their families. Rural women livelihood also engaged in this type of works in the rural aspects of India. From the recent census, it was seen that an increase of almost 17% of the birds, mainly of the backyard, were also increased in the census, poultry census of India. And coming to the broilers, approximately 1 billion broilers are consumed in India annually. In rural areas, the multicolored plumage pattern broilers, they are preferred since they fetch premium income to the, and they sell apart from the commercial birds, they sell this to the high at the highest price. Krishibro, it is a broiler variety. It is having colored plumage broiler, and it can be raised intensively in rural farming conditions also, up to 6 or 8 weeks of age. As many infectious diseases affect poultry due to limited natural resistance, the poultry production, it relies on the application of antibiotics in subtherapeutic doses, both for increasing disease resistance and production efficiency. The incorporation of antibiotics at low concentrations as antimicrobial feed additives, they have proven beneficial effects in terms of preventing subclinical disease. They have also increased the production efficiency as animal welfare, reducing environmental contamination, and they also have minimal production costs. Actually, for this broiler variety, we have seen some of the aspects of the production performance as well as haemato-biochemical aspects in different groups. We have made into different groups the Krishibro broilers raised on giving only coccidiostat, giving only antibiotic, and giving both the antibiotic and coccidiostat, as well as control without giving anything. So we want to see whether any changes are there or not, so that So with this methodology, we have taken in each group 40 birds, that is 5 replicates of 8 birds each. The coccidiostat which was given was amprolium hydrochloride. This is given at the rate of 500 grams per ton of feed, that is 50 grams per 100 kg, 100 gram per 1000. And antibiotics, that is chlortetracycline in the feed, 15% chlortetracycline at the rate of 500 grams per ton of feed. All the birds, they were raised in the similar management conditions up to 6 weeks of age, and they were maintained on a uniform basal diet, and they were given ad lib water throughout the experimental period. So this is the diet composition. Starter 1 to 10 days, grower it is 11 to 24 days, finisher it is 25 to 42 days. This is the maize, oil, soybean meal, shell grit, DCP, salt, methionine, lysine, these amino acids also we have incorporated, trace mineral mixture, and this vitamin B complex, choline, toxin binders. Apart from this, we have also given Microstrate also in the feed at the rate of 50 grams per 100 kg. And this is the MA, around 2903 in the starter, 2992 in the grower, and 3125. And the crude protein maintained from in the finisher, it was 19.82%. Ether extract, CF, this is the calcium, the available phosphorus, lysine, this is the methionine content in the feed, and the total soluble amino acids. These are the estimations of the feed, starter, grower, and finisher, respectively, we have given. This is the basal diet uniform to all the 4 groups. And this is the conditions where they were raised in battery brooders. For this, the performance parameters, that is, we have recorded the initial body weight as well as at 6 weeks of age, the final body weight. And the difference by the total number of days, it gives the average daily gain. And the body weight gain, that is a difference between final and initial body weight. Apart from this, the feed intake was also recorded, and average daily feed intake was calculated for 42 days. And based on that, FCR was also calculated for the growth performance. The FCR is based on the grams of feed consumed to the gram body weight gain, that is ADFI by ADG we have collected. And the body weight of the birds which died, if some mortality was there in individual group, that was also considered in the corrected FCR. Based on this was calculated. Later, we have calculated the productive efficiency index based on the body weight, that is livability, means how many birds are present in that one till the end of the experiment. That also was taken. Bird age, FCR, and it is calculated by the following equation, that is PI percent is equal to the body weight in kg into livability percentage into 100 divided by age, that is 42 days, into FCR. So these are some of the performance parameters which were taken from these groups. Hematology estimations were also seen, especially for the hemoglobin content, the total WBC, the red blood cell count, PCV, and differential leukocyte count by using the standard hematological procedures. And the biochemical estimations, we have collected blood, serum was separated, that is without anticoagulant we have collected, and serum was separated for the estimation of different protein profiles, lipid profiles, some liver function aspects, and kidney function aspects in all the groups. These are the different methods followed. For the total protein, it was biuret and albumin by BCG globulin, and AG it is a ratio, it was calculated. And the total cholesterol by CHOD POD method, HDL by immunoinhibition, VLDL by Fredibol formula, triglycerides by Trinder method, GPO Trinder method, and different ratios are also calculated based on the results. The total bilirubin and direct bilirubin by diazonium method, ALP by kinetic method, and ALT by IFCC method. This was also carried out. The creatinine by Modjeff's kinetic method, blood urea by urease, uric acid by phosphotungstate method. These are the different estimation methods carried out. And all the data mean standard error of the mean and the significance by using in the SPSS it was performed, and the level of significance was set up as p is less than 0.005. Coming to the results. So in all the groups, the initial body weight was around 39 grams, which was means it is a weekly we have taken, and finally it was around 1211 in the control group, and in coccidiostrat it was 1298, whereas in antibiotic fed along with coccidiostrat it stood slightly increased, that is 1375, and in antibiotic it was 1347 with the variations which were shown graphically here. See, this is the thing, day 0 almost all are equal, group 2, group 3, group 4. This is just I have taken the overall mean of all the groups also. This line it shows that one. So this is for different groups. In some groups in between I got, but in the finally in the antibiotic and coccidiostrat fed group it was higher compared to the control group, and slight variations were there. Antibiotic it was showing even only antibiotic also it was showing better. Coccidiostrat and this, even though there were no drastic changes, it was showing. This was showing some significant change only, which I'll show you. And day 42 there was significance, point not something it came, so it was significant. Coming to the average body weight. Average body weight also means weekly body weight. From the previous week, we have subtracted this one and we have made these calculations, and the standard error of mean in different weeks was also calculated. For group 1, it was 59.68, 117.50, and finally it was 214, whereas group 2 it was 299, the difference between 5th and 6th week. If you see the graph, you can this is the graph around where 4th and 5th week the growth was much in this Krishibro broilers in all the groups almost. That is when we feed finisher diet, the growth has increased, and later it was growing on a uniform scale, except for the control group. Control group, I don't know, it has dropped. For first week it was increased, but later some drop was there. Whereas group 4, it was steady increase was there. Group 4 and group 2. So the significant effect was there between the groups on in different weeks also, except for week 3. That is especially when we start giving finisher feed, there was significant increase. And before also it was there, starter feed also. Coming to the livability percentage, coming to the total feed intake. Total feed intake means almost it was around 2.5 kg, whereas in control group it was slightly less, and remaining in these two groups it was around 2,445 grams, 2,478 grams. But it is slightly higher, but there was no significant difference in this one. This is the body weight gain. Body weight gain, it was higher in the 4th group, that is antibiotic and this one, and it was 1171.6 grams. When the FCR was calculated, so it was 2.05 for the control group, whereas the 3rd and 4th groups, when we feed antibiotic and coccidiostrat as well as antibiotic alone, The FCR was slightly decreased, significantly decreased. That is 1.91, 1.91. And similar, the production efficiency index, performance efficiency index, that is 136.47 in control. And it was more in the that is highest in the antibiotic and coccidiostat fed group. Might have mainly because of this livability. Here only it is 93% livability is there in the fourth group, and when we feed coccidiostat alone or this one also, the livability percent is 92, but in the control group it was 89%. So this is the total feed intake, slightly higher in this antibiotic and coccidiostat fed group. The body weight gain also, it was higher, and the FCR was 1.91 in these two groups compared to the 2.05 and 1.99 in the control and coccidiostat fed group. This is the livability which we have seen. Almost at these three groups which are supplemented either with coccidiostat or either with the antibiotic and coccidiostat or antibiotic, they are showing good performance compared to the control. Even though the mortality was not that much, it was. Hello? Is it audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. The performance efficiency index percentage, it was highest in the group 4, and group 1 it was minimum. These also significant changes were seen here. So this is the ANOVA table where significance was noticed based on the value. Coming to the hematology parameters, hemoglobin, it is around 16 to 18 in these 4 groups. So there was not much variation or no significant variation, but since this hematology parameters are important from the clinical, even though in birds we don't take all the hematology, but for this breed we have taken, since we don't have the data of this rural poultry breed, so we just estimated to see whether any drastic changes are there in this Krishibro broiler, or when we supplement or maintain on only basal diet, whether any variations will be there. For that purpose, we have seen here this entire haemato-biochemical aspects. There were no significant changes. Even the PCV, it was 31 to 34 range. Total RBC count also around 2 millions, it was there. WBC count was also in the normal range around. Coming to the heterophils, there were more, and lymphocytes followed by eosinophils and monocytes. No basophils we have not seen in our protocol. This one, smears. So this is regarding the hematology. Coming to the protein profile, the protein was around 3 grams per deciliter, 3.16 to 3.70 gram per deciliter, whereas the albumin, it was 1.3 to 1.4. Everything was in the normal range with no significant changes. Here also the globulin was also highest in the only antibiotic fed group, followed by this coccidiostat group, and this antibiotic, as well as control also, the globulin levels, they did not show any significant change. We have, since this breed is intended for meat production, and the meat is relished by the rural people, we have also seen the lipid profile. The lipid profile, that is total cholesterol, it was in the it ranged from 112 to 149 in different groups, and the HDL, it was around 34 to 53. LDL changes were there. VLDL, there were also changes, and triglycerides, the ratio was drastic, but even though in the even though the range is so much, it was normal only, but in some groups we got less, and in some groups we got more here. So the total cholesterol, it is from 112 to 149. HDL cholesterol, it is from 34 to 53. LDL cholesterol, it is from 65 to 98. VLDL, it is from 7 to 28. And the triglycerides in all these four groups, they ranged from 79 to 143. And the cholesterol HDL ratio, it is from 2.82 to 4.5. And LDL HDL ratio, it is 1.46 to 3. Even though this is higher in the control group, this also is higher in the control group. Triglycerides were lower. The total cholesterol was also higher. Even antibiotic and coccigestate, both fed group also showed the same type. This is the lipid profile. As a part, since everything what we give as supplements or drugs, they get metabolized from the liver. We have gone through. We also have seen the bilirubin profile also. That it is ranging from 0.2 to 1.36. Direct bilirubin 0.1 to 0.3. Indirect bilirubin also 0.1 to 1.2. Some of the enzymes, alkaline phosphatase, they are mentioned in units per liter, and it's from 2600 to 5255. Wide variation was there. Whereas the AST, SGOT or AST, it is not the same. They are both same. That is aspartate aminotransferase, serum glutamate oxalotransferase. They ranged from 223 to 306, whereas the serum glutamate pyruvate transaminase, it ranged from 75 to 141 units per liter. Blood urea, okay, this is 33, not 3.33. They did not show any variation. And the serum creatinine, it is from 0.23 to 0.41. And the uric acid levels also around 4 to 5. What we can conclude is the production performance of the Krishibro broilers maintained on only basal diet, as well as by supplementing this coccidiostat, antibiotic and coccidiostat. They are showing some significant effects on the production performance, definitely because the antibiotics, they are used as growth promoters, and this is there. But in this era where we are not, due to antimicrobial resistance going on and One Health approach going on, we are not recommending the antibiotic and coccidiostats. So we want to see in the control also whether any changes, or means whether this can be. Since even though the growth gain was less, these birds, if given for the organic farming also, they can fetch higher price. So the Krishibro broiler as a whole, it can be grown in the rural backyard conditions and in groups, and they can be intensively grown by them in the backyard in different around 100, 150, like that also they can keep, and they can raise for 6 weeks. And since it is having colored plumage, they can fetch income more in the rural conditions. So this breed, this broiler variety of Krishibro broiler, it can be given in the rural conditions. With this view, I would like to acknowledge the Directorate of Poultry Research for providing the farm and financial facilities for undertaking this work. And the organizers also, I thank you for giving me this opportunity to present this talk. And thank you very much all. Thank you.